Good morning. I pray that this message finds you in peace and in God's favor. I pray that today, if you can't make it to church, that you can spend some time with God today. I pray that you will feel God's presence and that you will be filled with His Spirit to go and to spread the word and to love people, to go out and show His love to those around you. But for the next couple of minutes, I want to give you a couple thoughts on where I'm at. I just this past week, just a week ago, a week ago Friday, we brought Calvin home. We had Calvin on the 12th, and we brought him home last Monday. And to say the least, since then we've had quite a few sleepless nights. The little guy's got a good set of lungs, and he likes sleeping during the day, but not so much at night. And during these nights when, just kind of sit and hope he doesn't wake up, gives you quite a bit of time to think. And I've had time to catch up on news, sports reports, some biblical commentaries. And to be honest, when it's 2 a.m. and you've got a 4-day-old who will scream bloody murder if you put him down or don't hold him just right, sometimes the only thing that got me through there sanely is silly cat videos. And they work too. So I had to give you that out there, to be honest. But one of the things that I realized as I was reading some of the sports reports and listening to some news, this controversy about the NFL, the domestic violence controversy that they're going through is so challenging. There's so many different facets to it, and it's really blown up to such a large proportion. With the exposure that the NFL has, it really has an impact on a very large scale. And I appreciate Commissioner Goodell's news conference the other day, and I appreciate their actions. I appreciate also some of the public service announcements that have come out about domestic violence. They're well timed, well said, and probably actually past due, but they're good messages. And I can't help but look at our chapter in Acts 14 where we are this week, and find a connection to what the NFL is going through and humanity is going through. Not to make too much of the NFL, but more to look at people and the things that we have put in front of the NFL and kind of lifted the NFL to be. In Acts 14, we read about Paul and Barnabas. And thank you, Luke, for starting to call Paul Paul again and not continuing to refer to him as Saul, because it just makes it confusing. But thankfully, we're back with Paul and Barnabas. And in chapter 13, we have Paul preaching in Antioch. And then he moves on to Iconium after some controversy and after the Jews kind of pushed him out and were frustrated at his message, going to the Gentiles and to the pagans. So Paul and Barnabas, they go to Iconium and they preach the message. They were there for quite a while, and then they're pushed out and threatened. So they head over to Lystra and Derbe, and they begin to preach there. And very shortly in, they preach, and Paul sees a man lame from birth, and he heals him. And it's really an exciting event to see this man healed, and the people of Lystra and Derbe are very excited, and they're taken up in the moment, because here these men come and they heal this man, and it seems as though it's been a while since they've seen a healing, and so they immediately feel that the god Zeus and the god Hermes have come down in human form in Paul and Barnabas and have made this healing. So they're excited, and they decide that they're going to sacrifice to Paul and Barnabas, really Zeus and Hermes, but Paul and Barnabas, and they're going to worship Paul and Barnabas. And Paul and Barnabas are really quick to jump in and say, whoa, we're just mortals. We're just like you. Don't sacrifice to us. That's worthless. That's worth nothing. The Creator, the God of Israel, doesn't ask for this. He asks you to believe in His Son. The God of Israel has been blessing you with rain and food and harvest. Even though you haven't been witnessed to until today, He's been there, and He's now extending His hand to you, His grace. And you would think that would be enough to help people understand, but no, they're so ingrained in that uh, that multi-God facet, or that understanding that there are gods everywhere, small g gods, that they're pretty upset that Paul and Barnabas have rejected their offering of thanks for what they've just done. And some people had come from Antioch and Iconium, and they had kind of stirred the people up, and they decided to stone Paul and Barnabas uh, for their preaching. And I can't help but I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to make too much of the NFL, but I want to look at the larger problem of what we do as people, as humans. We as humans, we see people who do things better than us, and we lift them up. We put them on pedestals that they were never meant to be on. We lift people up above human status to live up to things that they just can't live up to. The people saw Paul and Barnabas, saw they did the healings, and they put them on the status of a god. And Paul and Barnabas were very quick to say, whoa, 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 back up. We are human. We're only human, just like you. It's a good thing I wasn't there, because more than likely had somebody come up to me and said, hey, we want to throw a party in your honor. There's a chance I probably would have said, you know what? I did just heal a guy. I haven't had a party in a long time. I'll probably just correct him in the morning. So bring on the fatted calf. Let's have a feast. That's me. Thankfully, Paul and Barnabas are better than I am. But look at this. We got sports figures. I want my sons to excel. When I was in high school, I wanted to excel. I looked up to the pole vault world record holder, Sergei Bubka. He's the only man ever over 20 feet in the pole vault. Oh, it was awesome. Watching his videos. I didn't know anything about his personal life. I hoped he was a good man. I know he was a great pole vaulter. And I want to be just like him. Tough as nails, strong as an ox, fast as anything, and graceful. It's what we do today with our young men and women with football, any kind of sport. We see the people who are the best, and we put them on a level they were never meant to be on. We get Nike sponsorships and any sponsorship, and we lift these people up to more than they are. We lift them up to infallible. We hold them to expectations that they can't live up to. Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson, I don't want to condone what they did. I don't want to say that, what they did was okay. It was, what they've done is not good. But, they didn't, Nike doesn't necessarily pay them to be the best moral person. They pay them because they're darn good at football. And our kids, we have them doing their drills because they're darn good at football. They're great running backs. But what we get confused on as people is that NFL is not life. The NFL is football. If you want your kid to be a good running back, you need to follow Ray Rice's drills, his technique on the field. You need to look at Adrian Peterson and how he moves and how quick he is and how he trains. Because that's going to get you to be a good football player. But the fact of the matter is even though they may have an ego and they may want to be on the level of, godlike in the football world, we as parents and grandparents and guardians and those who are molding young men and women, we need to make our young men and women realize that they are football players. They're not there for life skills. They're not there to teach us how to be good people. They're not there to teach us how to give, how to love, how to love Christ, how to model Christ for people. When I've had these more sentimental moments, I think about how good of a dad I'm going to be. You know, I don't want to ruin two young men and steer them the wrong way. My brother and I, all my brothers, my sisters, I think we've been reared well, and I seek to live up to that. I really seek to do better because I know there's always ways to improve. And I think of what the options we have. Roger Goodell said it well in his interview. He said he was asked what to tell a woman who had two sons who wore Adrian Peterson jerseys. And Goodell said it pretty well. He said, they made a mistake. That's a fair assessment. Adrian Peterson, Ray Rice, and the other guys who've had domestic violence problems, anybody who has domestic violence problems, have made mistakes. To think that they're not going to make mistakes is foolishness on our part. And I think about raising my sons, and I want them to look, and I want them to see sports stars for what they are. They're sports stars. They're good at sports. They're dedicated. They're hardworking. And I want them to see that for that aspect. But I also want them to look at me and my dad and my church and see how we reach out and we love people, how we spread the name of God, how we show the grace of God, how we show the grace of God when people screw up, like Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice, how we help them become better people, how we help them become more like Christ in loving, turning from our ways, getting help when we need it. I want them to see a sports star look at a Nike multi-million-dollar contract, look at the Nike opportunity to be lifted up as a god to all these young men and women. I want to see a sports star take that humbly. I want them to see a sports star take that humbly and realize that they themselves are only human. They're only human and they're going to make a mistake. They're only human and they are never one step away from falling flat on their face. That's what I want my sons to see a sports star do. And full disclosure, I want to see Judah and Calvin be the best pole vaulters in the world. I do. In my late night news readings, I found out that the pole vault world record had been broken earlier this year. I didn't know that because I've been so out of touch, but it was by a Frenchman who, unfortunately, I wish I could give him credit, but I can't pronounce his name. But I want Judah and Calvin both to beat his world record, and I want them to do it humbly. But most of all, right now, I want them and all the young men and women that I talk to, I want them to look to sports stars for sports, to pastors who preach with passion for just that. But if you're looking for inspiration, true inspiration, you have to look to God, the creator of all, the one who brings the rain, the food, because he alone will never let us down. I pray peace for you today. Amen. You didn't really think he's in there. I am not sentimental enough to sit here at 3 a.m. with a baby who's just now sleeping and start talking. Trust me, he's not in there. You guys have a good day. Love to all.